The Dell XPS 15 OLED vs MacBook Pro 16-inch comparison is intriguing. They're both excellent notebooks that easily earn spots on our best Windows laptops and best MacBooks lists. These machines exemplify the strengths of their respective platforms, but they are more than just PC versus Mac. Performance. The XPS 15 scored 11,258 on the multi-core portion of Geekbench 5.4, which measures overall performance. The Dell XPS 15 took 5 minutes and 42 seconds to complete our Handbrake video editing test, which involved transcoding a 4K video clip to 1080p. Sid Meier's Civilization by benchmarked at 40 frames per second at 3.5K resolution on the laptop. The game ran at 60 frames per second in 1080p resolution. While this game isn't technically demanding, those are still impressive frame rates that most non-gaming laptops can't match. The M1 Max chip was installed in our 16-inch MacBook Pro. However, because the entry-level laptop has an M1 Pro chip with 10 CPU and 16 GPU cores, we'll use the results from testing the MacBook Pro 14-inch, which also has an M1 Pro chip. The 14-inch MacBook Pro scored a whopping 12,477 on the multi-core test of the older Geekbench 5 general performance benchmark. The M1 Pro-powered laptop took 4 minutes and 51 seconds to transcode a 4K video to 1080p in our Handbrake video encoding test. Rise of the Tomb Raider ran at 39 frames per second on the 14-inch MacBook Pro with an M1 Pro chip. When we increased the resolution to 3024 by 1964, the laptop reached a choppy 17 frames per second. At 1512 by 982 resolution, Civilization Vi achieved 45 frames per second. In terms of overall performance, the MacBook Pro 16-inch with an M1 Pro chip comes out on top. This machine should be on your radar if you're a professional video or audio editor. While the XPS 15 OLED isn't as powerful overall, it can play graphically intensive games as well as or better than some of the best gaming laptops. If you want to play games at 30 frames per second or higher, the Dell laptop is a no-brainer. Design. Both laptops have sleek and elegant designs that are emblematic of their respective brands. The new Dell XPS 15 retains the XPS line's signature design language. It's difficult to complain about the unchanged design on some of the most elegant-looking Windows laptops. The Dell XPS 15 epitomizes the ultra-portable. Its machined aluminum chassis has a smooth and sturdy feel to it. It looks great at home, in a cafe, or at work. The laptop is devoid of adornments except for the iconic Dell logo on its silver lid. It's a little heavy at 4.2 pounds, but it's still light enough to carry around. However, the Dell XPS 15 OLED is a hot machine in general. The 16-inch MacBook Pro 2021 has undergone subtle but significant redesigns. It weighs 4.7 pounds and measures 14.01 by 9.77 by 0.66 inches. The 100% recycled aluminum chassis has a flatter lid than its predecessor, with vents carved out on either side to serve an improved cooling solution and a redesigned 6-speaker sound system on the inside. The notch is one of Apple's most contentious design decisions with this laptop and the MacBook Pro 14-inch. In general, Mac OS does a good job tucking the menu bar into the thin ribbon of extra screen space on either side of the notch. However, we discovered that after a while, you stop noticing the notch, especially when staring at the stunning Liquid Retina XDR display. The Dell laptop is more compact and lightweight than the MacBook Pro. If portability is important to you, the XPS 15 OLED may be the better choice. However, if you prefer a stockier machine with a more vintage appearance, the MacBook Pro 16-inch may be for you. Display. The 15.6-inch 3.5K OLED 60Hz Infinity Edge display looks great with both streaming content and video games. Similarly, the large and vibrant 1610 screen is ideal for working and browsing websites. On our light meter, the XPS 15 registered an average brightness of 382 nits, which is adequate but not exceptional. The XPS 15's display reproduced and accurately reproduced 122% of the RGB color gamut and 86.9% of the more demanding DCI-P3 color space. The 16-inch MacBook Pro's 16.2-inch Liquid Retina XDR display is one of the most beautiful screens we've ever seen on a laptop. It has a bright, vibrant mini LED display with an adaptive refresh rate of up to 120 Hz from Apple. Even with the screen set to maximum brightness and displaying HDR content, we couldn't get it any brighter than 520 nits in our lab testing. We used a colorimeter to test the screen and discovered that it displays 109.3% of the sRGB color spectrum and 77.4% of the DCI-P3 color gamut. The 16-inch MacBook Pro has a brighter display than the XPS 15 OLED and can display at 120 Hz. Despite a top speed of 60 Hz, Dell's laptop has more accurate color representation and touch functionality. It's difficult to pick a clear winner in this category because each display has distinct strengths and weaknesses. Price. The Dell XPS 15 OLED starts at $1,449. This configuration includes an Intel Core i5-12500H processor from the 12th generation, 16GB of RAM, a 512GB SSD, Intel UHD graphics, and a 15.6-inch Full HD 60Hz display. Our review model, the version we're directly comparing the entry-level MacBook Pro 16-inch to, costs $2,299 and includes a 15.6-inch 3.5K OLED 60Hz touch display, a Core i7-12700H CPU, an NVIDIA 3050T GPU, 16GB of RAM, and a 512GB SSD. The 16-inch MacBook Pro 2021 is priced at $2,499. This model includes an M1 Pro processor with a 10-core CPU, a 16-core GPU, 16GB of unified memory, and a 512GB SSD for storage. The entry-level MacBook Pro 16-inch costs $200 more than our XPS 15 OLED review model. Given the current state of the economy, some people may be unable to afford Apple's laptop. Dell's XPS 15 has the upper hand here. Ports. The Dell XPS 15 features 3 USB-C ports, a full-sized SD card slot, a headphone jack, and a Kensington lock security slot. That's a small number of ports, but Dell includes a USB-A and Ethernet adapter with the XPS 15. Though this may not be enough ports for some people, it should suffice for daily use. There are 3 USB-C ports, an SD memory card slot, an HDMI port, a headphone jack, and a MagSafe port on the MacBook Pro 16-inch. We would have preferred a USB-A port for legacy accessories, but you'll have to make do with dongles. Both laptops have a comparable number of ports when you consider the XPS 15 OLEDs, including USB-A and Ethernet adapters. To use the XPS 15's adapter, you must occupy one USB-C port, but this gives it a USB-A port, which the MacBook Pro 16-inch does not have. However, Apple's device supports MagSafe charging, which frees up all 3 of its USB-C ports. The MacBook Pro also has an HDMI port built in, whereas the Dell laptop requires an adapter for that function. Speakers. The speakers on the XPS 15 OLED are among the best we've heard in a laptop. The punchy speakers can fill an entire room while remaining crystal clear at high volumes. Bass isn't always great on laptops, but the XPS 15 didn't let us down. You can fine-tune music, movies, and games using the included EQ program. The speakers on the MacBook Pro 16-inch produced excellent sound. Treble, vocals, and bass are all sharp and clear. Thanks to Dolby Atmos support, movies like Dune sound appropriately cinematic. It's difficult to pick a winner here because both laptops produce excellent sound. Anecdotally, I believe the MacBook Pro 16-inch has slightly better sound than the XPS 15 OLED due to its punchier bass. However, neither machine has poor audio quality in the grand scheme of things. Verdict. The Dell XPS 15 OLED is arguably the best Windows laptop available right now. It has an appealing, modern design that is both understated and appealing. And its benefits aren't limited to the Surface, it's also a powerful device that works well for both work and play. With that said, the MacBook Pro 16-inch is a difficult beast to slay. Though it is not suitable for gaming, its power is ideal for professional video and audio editors. The MacBook Pro 16-inch, like the XPS 15 OLED, is more than capable of meeting the computing needs of everyday users. This is one of the most difficult matches to call. It all comes down to what you need and want in the end. If you prefer the Windows platform and enjoy playing high-end video games, the Dell XPS 15 OLED is the right choice for you.